Hi everyone, how are we all doing? My name is of course Paul and welcome back to another daily video. Need to go and get petrol as the light's flashing at me. As you can see, no hair, shaved it all off again. So let's go and get petrol and then I'm going to go and upload yesterday's video and then I've got work. Then we're going to talk about cars I've owned in the past, and also it looks like I'm going to be doing a little collab with GM Vauxhall fans. Be sure to stay tuned for that one. I'll let you know when it goes live and stuff like that. But it looks like we're going to be doing a collab together. Also, as you can see from the window that side and the window at the front, it's all misted over and crap, but there we go. Also, the Canon 80D is on charge. I'm going to be using that tomorrow. It needs a good clean after Sunday, as with the rain and stuff like that. It's made the lens all misted up and weird, but I'll sort that out tonight when I get home. But for now, let's go and get petrol. Work's done, time to go home. Tonight I want to talk to you about previous cars that I've owned and the stories behind some of them. So let's go and do the drive out and then I'll talk to you once I get there, but I will be sitting in the car as I want to just go in and chill out tonight. I don't want to end in the house, I'd sooner end it in the car where it's a nice comfortable setting to tell you the story about how I ended up in this white Corsa VXR. Also as well, I don't know whether you can see this, but I kind of designed, well not designed, but drew this out tonight. Basically, Rankin's media and the umbrellas that are going to come off it, the clothing line, Rankin's prints, Orlando Taurus, detailed image photography, Paul Rankin YT, which is the YouTube channel and the website, and of course Rankin's gaming, which I want to try and get back into. But that's what I've done tonight. Rankin's media is now a real deal thing. Okay everyone, so I'm home, so it's time for story time tonight. So the story is of all the cars, well not all the cars, I've only owned a few, but the cars that I've owned and the reasons why. Reason I ended up in this white VXR right now that I've got. So starting off, I had a black 04 plate Renault Clio. It was brand spanking new, Clio Dynamite, electric, everything, sunroofed a lot. I had it for 6 months. There's a long story behind that car, which I'm not going to go into because I'm not proud of it at all, in the slightest, so I'm not even going to go into that one. However, moving on, I had 56 plate Fiesta, also brand spanking new, out the showroom. I picked the registration number for it and absolutely fell in love with it because technically it was my first car I owned. So I had the 56 plate Ford Fiesta 1.25 Z-Tech. I think it was called the Freedom. They made like a bit of a special edition out of it, you know, it was just a Z-Tech, but they put a few extra bits in there and called it the Freedom. It had different alloys on it, spoiler on the boot, and a few other little various tweaks, but the car was absolutely unbelievable. I started out modifying it and it started with blacked out backlights, which I got pulled over for. It had a £50 exhaust from the Argos, super loud. If you started it on a cold morning, the street used to just fill with white smoke everywhere. It had black and chrome alloys on it. It had a different spoiler on the boot. It had a D-badge grille. It had detangled headlights. It had a flip out DVD head unit in it. I ended up getting the full leather Z-Tech S seats, which at the time were rare. It had an armrest in it, and then it got wrote off, and it ended up being a Cat B write-off. And from what I know now, apparently it's back on the road. If you reg check the car, it comes up as being taxed, MOT'd, and it's back on the road. So I don't know how, but I will go in more to the write-off story, but it won't be until later on in the year. I'll come back to that story about the Fiesta. I'm not going to go into it now. Then moved on to a 58 plate Renault Clio 1.2 Dynamite Turbo. It was at the time 100 horsepower out of a 1.2 turbo engine. It had the half leather seats. I ended up putting an armrest in it. I've done all kinds of crazy things to that car. It had Porsche D90 wheels on it, the silver lip and orange in the centre, a bit out there, but that's what I wanted it to be. I had custom coilovers made for it, which dropped the front 100mm. The rears were on 90 and they were bought from someone who had their car featured in a magazine. Not the full coilover set, but the rear made for another car. Still a 1.2 Dynamite, but I ended up buying them, fitted them to mine. The car was stupidly low, you couldn't go over speed bumps in it. It used to scrape everywhere you went, even if I pulled up here. When I first started coming here, I used to pull up onto the pavement and it would literally scrape along the pavement. I've done all kinds. Basically, I had induction kits on it and stuff like that. I was looking at various different pieces for it, and then I decided I'd had enough and I wanted something a little bit bigger. So I ended up going for, at the time it would have been a 1.4 Vauxhall Astra, and it was going to be a brand new 61 plate. All my cars basically have pretty much been brand new, apart from the ones after that. It was brand new from the showroom, but however, when I got there, the white one still hadn't been delivered. They were and ahhing over delivery dates, even though they gave me an exact delivery date, and it still never appeared. I ended up speaking to the saleswoman's manager, and they agreed to keep the payments the same if I took the one that was in the showroom, but the one in the showroom was a 1.6. I agreed to it. I phoned my insurance company, sorted everything out, and agreed, and then it was ready within 2 days, because it was actually a showroom car. So within 2 days the car was out, PDI'd, and on the road. On that car I ended up blacking the tail lights out on it. It had Rankin's photography across the rear of it. I never done much to that car apart from an amateur grille and the full SRI seats, which at the time cost me about £300 for the full lot, including the armrest, but it already had the armrest in it, so I just replaced the top cover with the leather one. Finally, I think I hit 24,000 miles in that car, in the Astra, and decided that we're travelling backwards and forwards to work, and obviously I was doing pizza deliveries at the time as well, as I needed to make a bit of extra money, and decided it wasn't really for me. I needed to go back to something small, but I needed something sporty in my life. So I shopped around on the internet for ages, and I think it finally went on 26,000 miles, and I got an email because I set myself up for notifications for new cars that were coming up, and this Corsa VXR, ardent blue, sat nav system in it, the full nav system, half leather seats in it. It was obviously ardent blue, and instantly I was like, I fell in love. I phoned the dealership, they were based down in Devon, phoned them, and we agreed all the figures over the phone. However, they said to sign the paperwork I had to be in the garage, so I had to drive. So one night I went, basically the way I was doing my pizza deliveries was I was working Monday to Friday in my full-time job, and I was working Thursday night straight from work till midnight, Friday night straight from work till 1 o'clock, Saturday I was working 5 till 1 in the morning, and then Sunday I'd work from 5 till 12 PM, and then I'd go to work Monday morning. It was absolutely killing me, and then I moved on to a different pizza shop owned by the same people, but I was finishing at 10:30. So one Saturday night I went to work, finished at 10:30, a friend of mine came with me, we basically shared the drive, and at 10:30 at night we left Liverpool and headed to Devon. We arrived at about 4 o'clock in the morning to the hotel. The dealership had paid for the hotel for us to stay overnight and go in on the Sunday morning to sign all the paperwork. So we done that, everything was all signed, done and dusted, the car was outside, I took it for a drive and instantly fell in love with that car. There's no words to describe it. Obviously I'd never owned a 1.6 turbo car with that much power. Obviously my Clio only had 100 horsepower. That dealership agreed to deliver the car to Liverpool. The sales manager stayed in the Hilton in Liverpool. I picked it up from Q Car Park. I drove the Astra into Q Car Park. I met him outside the hill. He told me it was parked in the Q Car Park. He gave me the ticket to the car park. The car was parked up. It looked absolutely stunning. He'd had it cleaned again for me, because obviously bringing it back down the motorway, it got dirty, so they had it fully cleaned again, and it just looked absolutely stunning. I remember driving out the car park and the noise behind me echoing through the car park and stuff like that. It was just unreal. I absolutely loved that car to bits. Unfortunately, 4 weeks into ownership I got attacked for the car, and I was asked to give the keys up. It never happened. There was three of them. I never gave the keys up. 4 weeks after that, I think 3 weeks after that, I was going away to Florida, but I never gave the keys up. They never got the car never went anywhere. They got scared and ran off. Bad to think about maybe what could have happened that night, but obviously I don't want to dwell on that. I kept the car for around 18 months after trying to get rid of it. I tried everything to get rid of it because it just put a big dampener on the car. I didn't feel comfortable driving around in the car after that. I was constantly watching everything what was going on. We actually took that car up to London, and I even parked in a secure car park, and I still didn't feel right behind the hotel. So I knew for me that car had to go, as it just had a big burden hanging over it. I was constantly worried. Every noise outside the house, I'd be up at the window checking on it, and that's not the way I wanted to live my life. So unfortunately it had to go. I picked out a 1.6 Ford Focus Z-Tech S, which I had for a year, as basically up and down the motorway every day it was killing me on fuel. It wasn't great. It was an automatic as well, I took some time out to myself just to enjoy an automatic car. It was slow as hell. I nearly got wrote off a few times pulling out of a junction, and it was just that delayed, so it had to, and obviously I'd learned a few things about the car as well, and it just had to go. I had to get shut of it, so I managed to get shut of it. I found this car in Newcastle, which if you've seen the video then you know exactly where to pick this up from and what it cost me and everything else, and all the videos I've made on it. Felt like I needed another VXR. I needed to get it out of my system, and the only way to get it out of my system was to get another one. This one I want not in your face. It's not an in your face VXR like the Ardent Blue one was. The Ardent Blue one had the aggressive front bumper, the aggressive rear bumper, the triangle exhaust. This looks like a limited edition on the outside. If you looked at this and looked at a limited edition Corsa without that front black bit in the middle, you'd just say it's a limited edition, and that's what I wanted. It's got some nice power to it. It's got the lovely leather Recaro seats in it that are heated. It's got the heated steering wheel. It's got the old IntelliLink system in it, which I'm not happy about, so I started the petition. Unfortunately the government decided, you know, it wasn't the right thing to do, starting the petition, so they cancelled it, and I chose the one that obviously had the performance pack on it. It had the carbon pack on it and the leather pack. And at the time when I picked this up, apparently according to the Vauxhall dealer, it was one of only 5 in the country at the time that had all 3 packs on it. The only thing it hasn't got is the panoramic roof. It's got the nice alloy, the upgraded alloys on it, performance pack, carbon pack and leather pack, and it was one of only 5. Now there's lots more out there now, so it's no longer one of only 5. I probably could have made my money back, or got a bit more for it if I'd have sold it not straight away. But however, I felt like I needed to get another VXR out my system, which is how I've ended up in this one right now. And hopefully by the end of this year I'll have had it completely out of my system and I'll be ready to move on to something special. But that's the story. That's my car history, apart from 2 that I haven't mentioned. I had a W-Reg VW Bora, which was parked on the path, which I sold. I never even drove. I sold it. I bought it and sold it. And then I had, in between getting the Corsa and the Astra, I had an R-Reg maroon Astra, which used to belong to a friend of mine. I drove it around for 2 weeks and then sold it on. It was just a stopgap while I was getting the Clio all raised back up and stuff like that, so we could go into the garage and I still had the car to drive around in. It cost me about £20 to insure it for 2 weeks, and it didn't really cost me anything in fuel. It didn't cost me about £10 in fuel. It was really good on the fuel for some reason. I drove that around for 2 weeks, little R-Red Vauxhall Astra, but I never mentioned them obviously because, you know, they weren't really cars I'd say I've owned fully. But that's my car history, and I'm hoping the next car is something unbelievably special and something that I can say I'm proud of what I've done. Also as well, you got the Rankin media thing now, which I showed you earlier on. I feel like I'm rambling. Thanks very much for watching as always. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. I don't really normally go for stuff like that, but if you've enjoyed this video and you've enjoyed my car history and stuff like this, then be sure to let me know in the comments down below. But however guys, I'm going to see you all tomorrow. I'm going to go in, relax, and I will see you all in the morning for another daily vlog. Take it easy guys, I'll see you in the morning.